giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Freeman, Monza, and Hyundai. Streaming live on YouTube and Facebook, and hopefully Twitter. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Y'all still here? Wow, man. We're only, 12 days away now from Cowboys training camp. We're doing our countdown to training camp battles, and today we got offensive linemen. Not a lot. I'll talk to you guys why I don't think there's a ton of offensive line battles here, but I got two of them. One of them might be throwing a bit of a curveball at y'all, so stay tuned for that. In the roundup, old Michael Myers is back. I call Sean Payton Michael Myers now. He just won't go away, and we'll detail that. He's back in the news. The Cowboys are attached. We'll talk a little bit about that, as well as a stat that make you go, I don't got a beard, but if I had a beard, it'd make me go, I got to bring that up. Shout out to Warren Sharp. Some of his tweets are a bit ridiculous, but his Sharp statistics and one of the stats that he brought up really was interesting. I saw it yesterday. I wanted to save it for today. Shout out to Hit Sticks. He DM'd me yesterday and sent it to me. I said, we on the same page, bro. I'm going to bring it up tomorrow. I got you, man. But shout out to the Bomb Squad in the building.
Bomb Squad!
And if you're not down with the Bomb Squad, we got two words for you. I don't know how it is. You know they can't say that anymore? They can't say suck it in the W. I mean, it's been a while, actually. I mean, it goes all the way back to the Attitude Era. And it's one of the main reasons why Billy Gunn would put the microphone out to the crowd, because they can't say it, but the crowd can say it. Just one of my favorite tag teams of all time. The Road Dogg, the badass Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaw. You know, I can go on and on for those. But shout out to y'all. Y'all want to call into the show, you absolutely can. 351-999-3787 is the call-in line. Y'all know how we do. I won't hold back. Y'all won't hold back. Let's have a good show today. Let's have some fun as we're in the dog days of the offseason. 14 days until training camp. I say 2 weeks. You know, this week and next week are the toughest ones to get through. And then after that, you got the training camp week. So I'm not really too concerned about that. But we're halfway there. Tomorrow we'll probably roll out that old TV. You know, we'll bring that TV out, have some more fun tomorrow. I'll see if we can try to get somebody on the show, too, to mix it up a bit. Bad news update on yesterday. We didn't get a chance to finish the interview. I don't know when we will. It didn't happen. But I promise y'all I would try my hardest to get that done. I refuse to put out what we did do because it don't look good. It don't sound good. So I got y'all. Before we get into the roundup, though, I was going to put this in the roundup, but I didn't. We got some updates on a few players that tried out for the Cowboys. Yesterday we talked about Malik Jefferson. Today we got more. We got another linebacker, TJ Brunson, and two wide receivers, Kevontae Turpin, and wide receiver Maurice Alexander. I think the standout name there is Kevontae Turpin, USFL MVP. Got to work out on Friday. Here are some of his stats from the USFL season. He was the MVP, y'all. 44 receptions, 540 yards, 4 touchdowns, 129 yards rushing, 1 rushing touchdown, 68 kick return yards, 184 punt return yards. Something those two receivers, Turpin and Maurice Alexander, have in common: returners. And we talked about yesterday a little bit the return aspect of the Cowboys. It's kind of in question, right? We know that our guy does return kickoffs. I say that kinda TP because he had a kick return for a touchdown, but then that earlier in the season he was struggling with taking the ball out. And I wonder if they'll put him back there because he's going to be used more in offense. So I don't know. But as regards to punt return, there's not a set in stone guy at punt return. They won't put TP there. So maybe one of these guys can get on the team that way. Like we talked about Freifogel, like we talked about Drummond. In passing, I brought up, I think it was the Purdue wide receiver, Roberson. But honestly, he played the most snaps at slot when we were talking about slot receivers. So shout out to the chat. Somebody had commented about Roberson. Absolutely, he's involved in that battle as well. So bit of an update on who tried out for the Cowboys on Friday. Do I expect anything to come from this? No. It's slow. There's not much news going on. I was joking with Professor Rowe, and he DM'd me. We were talking. They made a story about Jalen Tolbert starting week 1. Why is that a story? Michael Gallup's not expected to play. Of course he's going to start, right? But we're in that time period right now where we've got to talk about whatever we can talk about. So I feel like it's my obligation to give you that type of information, all right? And if you're not down with that, we're going to go ahead and go to the morning roundup.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time.
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Ole do it. Hey. Yeah. Sean Payton rumors are back like Michael Myers. One of my favorite horror movies. Slashers, whatever you want to call it. But he won't go away, y'all. Here's a recent report from the Miami Herald, citing an unnamed source. This is a quote, by the way. Highlights the Miami Dolphins, Los Angeles Chargers, and the Dallas Cowboys among the possible destinations for Payton next year if those jobs open up. I can't see Miami's job opening up. They just brought in one of the young guns that, was very popular in the hiring process, and Mike McDaniels from the Niners. I'm going to say the Saints. So I don't see that opening up. The Chargers, though, that's one. Brandon Staley's seat's not hot. Don't get it twisted. It ain't hot. But he got some pressure this year. They got a nice squad, man. They stacked. They made some great signings. They've been drafting well. They got a franchise quarterback who's a beast. It's there in front of you. I think year 3 for Brandon Staley, correct? Year 3, right? Or is it year 2? Year 2. Regardless, it's still very early for Staley. But if they don't make the playoffs, his seat could be on fire. Oh, but the Dallas Cowboys. Boy. We know Mike McCarthy's seat is on fire. And it's even more hot because Sean Payton is lurking. Right? And earlier I heard Bobby Belt mention that it's well known that Payton wants to take the Dallas Cowboys job before he's completely done coaching. I thought that was already known out here in these streets that Sean Payton wants to come back to Dallas. Hell, it almost did according to certain reports, right? So this won't go away. This just won't go away. I don't think it's out the realm of possibility, obviously, because of the relationship between Jerry Jones and Sean Payton. And the worst part about this for Mike McCarthy is no matter what happens during the regular season, this is going to stick around until the very end. The only way for this to completely go away is for the Dallas Cowboys to do better than they did last year. And I don't even mean in the regular season, y'all. He can go 14-3. But if he goes 1 and done in the playoffs, Sean Payton's going to be back like Michael Myers. Best believe it. Real quick, though. Just dream with me for a quick second, if I may. You see those two guys shaking hands right there. Is it crazy to say That would be a dream coaching staff. Sean Payton as my head coach slash offensive captain, driving that ship, and Dan Quinn running the defense. Oh, God. I mean, I'm not saying this is going to happen because it's very, Quinn, if the defense does well, he could be looking at a head coaching job somewhere. But I'm just saying, dream with me for a quick second. Sean Payton as head coach slash offense guy. Dan Quinn as assistant head coach slash defense coordinator. Oh, boy. I would love to see it. Just give me 1 year with it. 1 year. All right. We'll move on. Stats that make you go. Warren Sharp put out a tweet, man. I saw this yesterday, and I was like, see, I went on my Kellen Moore rant yesterday. Some people didn't like it. Some people understood it. I understand. Listen, I hear it. To be like. But second down run rate after an incompletion. I thought this was really interesting. The Cowboys ranked 8th. Among the teams in the top 10, the New York Giants. Well, that makes sense. Jason Garrett, special boy. First and 10, incompletion. Second and 10, we run it. 70% of the time. That's crazy. Detroit, Tennessee, Washington, Minnesota, Chicago, Denver, Pittsburgh, Atlanta. Of the top 10 teams, Dallas is the only one that I can see. I don't have 5 up there or 6. I don't know who was 5 or 6. Of the teams listed, they're the only ones who went to the playoffs. But go look at those bottom teams. Last in the league, Tampa Bay. Cincinnati, 31st. Kansas City, 30th. San Fran, 28th. Tied for 27th, Green Bay, the Rams, and New England. The reason why this makes me go, because you look at those teams at the bottom, those are some of the more successful offenses in this league over the number of years. I don't know where these teams ranked 5 years ago or whatever, right? But LA won the Super Bowl. Tampa, granted, it was Philly. They got to the next round. Cincinnati went to the Super Bowl. Kansas City was in the AFC Championship game. These teams did a little bit more. Now, there's no way I'm going to say second down run rate has an impact on winning and getting into the Super Bowl. That's not what I'm saying. It's an interesting stat, and it makes you go, I think you want to be at the bottom of this one. Right? I think you want to be at the bottom of this because, and this doesn't mean abandon the run. I'm not saying anything like that. But if things are going to be the way they were last year, where Dallas just couldn't get any push the last 11, 12 games, whatever it was, about 11 games, you can't keep putting your quarterback and your offense in 3rd and 8s. You can't keep doing that and expecting successful results on a consistent basis. So what these teams do, specifically Tampa and Cincy and Kansas City, I can't speak for. I think Green Bay does it too. I don't know about LA, but I remember studying this last year. They use their backs. And hold tight, B-Bird. I want you to come back in here. Remember, I wanted you to tell me why you think the Joneses don't fool with Sean no more. But they use their backs on extended handoffs, right? So they can get into those 3rd and manageable, 3rd and short situations. Oh, hell, get a damn first down. Maybe Warren should drop the percentage of first downs success rate from second down. I love numbers. Professor O, get those numbers for us, bro. Get those numbers for us. But, yeah, man, just a stat that made me go, something to pay attention to next year. How does Kellen Moore adapt to that statistic? Because that's not one you want to be in company with the Giants, the Detroit Lions, the Chicago Bears, the Minnesota Vikings, who was primarily run team, didn't go to the playoffs though. Who else was up there? The Atlanta Falcons. I mean, these are all bad teams aside from maybe the Minnesota Vikings. He didn't show 5 and 6, so that may have been a playoff team. I don't know. But it looks like you want to be towards the bottom of that, not at the top. So that's the roundup for today. Very interesting stuff. And I got my guy B Bird on here. Before we get to the meat and potatoes of the show, I definitely want to bring this back up because I told B Bird to give me a call in here today to explain to me why the Joneses may have fallen out of favor there with Payton. What's up, OG? What you got for us? B Bird, you there, brother? Uh-oh. Well, I'm gonna put B Bird in my ear here. If he comes back, I'll bring him back in. But right now, I just hear B Bird. You there? He's back there breathing like Michael. There you go. There you go. Oh, there he not go. I got you, bro. Call back in and we'll figure this thing out here. Let's get into the chat while we try to get B Bird on here. Bill Pugh, what's up, man? He said, what's good, Sky and Cowboys Nation? Todd Cook, this is more to do with play call. Oh, yeah, 100% is play calling. That's why I attached Kellen Moore to that situation. I'm curious to know if this is just a coincidence to you guys or if it's something to it. I do personally think the second and 10 run thing is so Cowboys. And it's not even just Kellen. This has been since Jason Garrett. Oh, funny. Number 1 in the league, Jason Garrett. B Bird, we got you back?
Hello?
Yes. Okay, we got you back, man.
Hello?
Do I not have you? B Bird. Okay. I don't know if it's me or B Bird, so give me a second. No, check. I should be fine. Somebody else call in here. I want to see if it's me or if it's him or if it's the free conference call situation going on here. We still live, right? Like, want to make sure we still everything good on my end, right? I think we good here. I think we good. Let me get into the chat. Gregory, more like 3rd and 12, complete for 15, flag on the play. Well, there's that. There's that. Somebody else trying to get in here. Jacob, let's see if we get. Hey, Jacob, can you hear me, Jacob? Ooh, this might be on my end. Hold up. What about you, 509? Can you hear me? Nope. All right, give me a second. Let me see. Wait, can you hear me? Check. Weird, because it's coming in on my end. Jacob, what about you, Jacob? Jacob, can you hear me? Nope. All right. I'm not sure why this is doing what it's doing, y'all. It looked like everything was good here. I'm gonna go out and come back in on this the call-in line here and see what happens. Join meeting. All right, I went out. I came back in. We'll see if this works. If not, we'll just go on with the show. I'll just try to get your explanations throughout the chat. My apologies if you're running this back and like, what is going on here? Get back to the chat. Nicholas, Payton isn't the answer. I always thought it was an execution problem. Interesting. I would think that Sean Payton would help out here. 213, can you hear me? All right, so this is Mel? All right, cool. We back. I just had to exit out and come back in. So I think we're good to go now. My apologies, Cowboys Nation, on that situation, man. What's up, Mel? What you got for us since I got you here?
I know, right? Man, you know what, man? I actually thought I was thinking about something the other day, and this is kind of where I come to share my Cowboy thoughts or
right.
get feedback on them. I was thinking about CeeDee, man, and I know that ain't the topic of today, but I was thinking about CeeDee.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about Dak, I was thinking about Kellen Moore, and I was thinking about the past 6 years. Dak has never had one receiver that has had over 1,200 yards or 10-plus touchdowns since the time he's been the QB. But I'm looking at the roster right now, and I literally do not see, barring injury to either CeeDee or Dak, any possible way CeeDee does not get the 1,200 yards.
Yep.
He had 1,100 last year, 900 some odd yards the rookie year. And last year he was sharing targets with Amari and with Said, who Dak loves. I don't see anyone else the first, let's say, 6 to 8 weeks during that time Gallup is out. Hopefully that time is shorter. That takes any targets away from CeeDee. I mean, if it would be criminal if targets are taken away in the first couple of games. Am I tripping, or is there any possible way he does not get the 1,200 yards?
No, we answered, or not we answered. I mentioned this before. I think he's going to have a career year from a Dak Prescott receiver. I mean, it's obvious, right? There's no Amari Cooper here. There's going to be no Cedric Wilson, no Michael Gallup for a while. This is easily going to be a career year for Dak Prescott wide receivers. But the reason why I think you hadn't seen that is because this offense isn't about that. Hopefully it changes a bit. This offense is a spread it around type of situation. It's never a go-to one type of guy. They may not have a choice, right? They may not have a choice.
That's my thing.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it didn't work. Like, it worked to an extent, but we also know, when it came time to nut up, you needed to have a go-to type of dude or a go-to type of game plan, and we just never did it. So I see it happening. I don't think that's a detriment, though. If you can throw for 4,900 yards and not have a 1,200-yard, 10-touchdown receiver, that's impressive to me. In a 16-game season, not 17. So that means that you can spread the ball around at an efficient rate. And that was the year, I think, where he messed his shoulder up at the end of the season, too. Right.
That was in 19.
Right. So,
but for that particular year, it definitely was not a detriment because Amari had 1,189. I think that was the number.
I think it was like
Gallup had 1,000
and like 6 touchdowns, I think. So he didn't hit the 10 touchdown mark.
Yeah.
I think the touchdown mark is the most
Cobb
important.
had, I think, maybe 800 plus.
803. So that's what I mean. So he could spread the ball around at a high-end, efficient rate. When you have a Cobb and Amari and Gallup all healthy, I don't think you need to have a 1,500, 1,600-yard receiver. I said this going into the year. There's going to be games where you're going to have a guy like Amari, like Gallup, like CeeDee that doesn't go off. But if you look around, somebody will have an efficient game. Cowboys should win, and that's what was happening early on in the season. Amari Cooper wasn't dropping 150 per game the first 8 games. It was everybody kind of eating, and Dallas was winning. Then the season ended, and everybody was like, oh, well, so-and-so didn't get this and get that. That wasn't a problem early on. It became a problem later because teams figured it out, and it was time to just go to your guys, and that just never really happened. Yeah,
man. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, let me run this by Scott, man. Am I tripping? Is there any way he doesn't get that? I think I know Dak is a guy that can spread it around. I'm interested to see can him and Kellen now become an offensive? Can they come up with an offensive scheme that can feature one guy, because that's really what they have, right now. And I know there's other players on the roster, but in all fairness to those guys, they're going to have to go through a learning curve with Dak, and we'll see how that turns out. But I think we already know him and Dak and CeeDee already have that chemistry, so it's going to be interesting to see really how that goes. But, man, I appreciate your time, brother, man. I'm going to jump back on in the chat, man. I'm glad the phone lines is back working. Let's get B-Bird in here and see what he got to say.
Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, my bad,
right,
Joe. I don't know what the hell happened there, but it's back up. We good to go. A couple donations.
Super chat.
Aaron from 561. He says Mike McCarthy pronounces rookie like Wookie. Hashtag broke glass. Father of 5.
Super chat.
There's a stat out there that Gallup's been covered by the number 1 corner more than CD and Coop the last 2 years. This is true. Check out Cowboys Fan Talk page. Absolutely check out my guy Rome, man. That came from Twitter. I'm not sure, Father of 5, if you have more on that. I don't see anything. But, yeah, there is a stat out there. You want me to dive into the stat? A pretty easy explanation there. Michael Gallup is playing X wide receiver probably 80+% of the time. I don't know if that's the true statistic, but more than anybody on this team, Michael Gallup is playing on the boundary. Thus, if you have a guy like CeeDee Lamb who's 90%, 93% playing in the slot, he's not going to see the cornerback one. All right, so that's easy explanation. And then you got a guy like Amari Cooper who plays, I think it was 65-35, so 60% outside, and he comes in the slot 35% of the time inside. He's not going to see the number 1 corner at a high rate. So that's the explanation there. I would guarantee you, if Amari Cooper was CeeDee Lamb this year with no Michael Gallup and no CeeDee Lamb, just Amari Cooper, he would see a ton of cornerback 1. CeeDee Lamb is going to see a ton of cornerback 1 to start this season, unless he's not primarily in the slot. That is the easiest explanation to that. There's no science or wizardry to that. Now, the statistic we really want to be looking at is the one where Sean McVay gets Cooper Kupp lined up on a linebacker more than any wide receiver in the NFL. That is scheming open your receiver. That is scheming up matchups, right? The Michael Gallup statistic to me is nothing all opening. I'd be shocked if it wasn't. Because that means the cornerback 1 is traveling, and cornerback 1s don't normally travel inside like that. There are very, very few of those dudes who will travel into the slot. You have a slot corner. Honestly, he's a starter now. Keep it a bean. We talked about this with me and Professor O. I think 3 wide receivers are considered starters now. 2 outside in the slot. 3 corners, in my opinion, are considered starters too. 2 boundaries in the slot. So that is why you see that. Gallup plays the X position. He's not going to slide inside a whole lot. I don't know what the numbers are exactly. I can get them for you. But I guarantee you he's not in there no 30, 40, 50% of the time. I know that. All right. Let's get B Bird in here. We're good to go now. B Bird, you got me?
I got you, Scott. What's going on, bro?
My apologies, OG. I don't know what the hell happened with that.
Hey, no problem, man. But for one thing, that was an interesting stat that you brought up about the second down.
Yeah.
What it tells me, and my thought process has always been, why wait to do on third down what you could do on second down? And it tells me that teams are not trying to get into a do or die situation on third. They're going second and 8. We're going 10 yards for this.
Yeah. And
you know what I'm saying? The better teams are doing that, and then that way you don't get yourself in the bind. If you don't get it on second, going for the first down on second, you still got third. But the thing about it is when you get to third, anything can happen. Holding call, offsides, anything can happen on third down. So don't wait till third down to try to get it. Let's get it on second.
Yeah, I love that stat, man, because I think it can explain so many different – it makes me want to go back and look later in the season and the beginning of the season to see if that number was lower or not. But, that's another day. I probably need a weekend to look at that stuff. But very interesting stat to make you go,
So I made a comment at the end in the chat yesterday, and you said, hey, call in today. So I was doing that. I said I don't think that Sean Payton is coming here. And I'll tell you this, and this is just my opinion. So when the Cowboys look for a head coach, it's a little bit different than anybody else looking for a head coach. In my mind, I think one of the things they got to have is they look for unassuming, non-celebrity type coach. They don't want nobody with a big name. Let me tell you, the Joneses love the celebrity that the Cowboys bring them. Hey, do you know who Larry Page is?
Yes. Larry.
Okay.
Thinking of a different Larry Page, I think.
Okay, so the one I'm thinking of runs Google, and he's worth $111 billion. All
right. Yeah, I'm thinking.
So what I'm trying to say is, just because somebody has a lot of wealth, that don't mean that they're famous. You can look at Mark Cuban. He wouldn't be on all these TV shows unless he owned the Dallas Mavericks. Somebody said this a long time ago that made sense. Say rich people, wealthy people buy sports franchises to become famous. And that's what the Joneses have done. They're famous, man. I see them at the game signing $100 bills and everything else. They love the limelight. They don't want to bring in a coach, man, like Sean Payton with the personality, and he is a celebrity coach. They're not going to bring anybody. They don't want to bring anybody in to take the limelight away from them. My next one is they don't want a coach that's highly sought after. They definitely do not want. They want to have all the leverage and be able to dictate terms to them. You see, Wade Phillips got Garrett put on him. McCarthy got Kellen put on him. Why? Because you didn't have any leverage to come in there. Nobody else wanted you. They want, they don't want a candidate with options, man. And so, Sean Payton will have options. He'll have Miami. He'll have the Dolphins, and it may be other people. So they have to. When you're in a bidding war, you have to give up some leverage. Cowboys don't want to give up no leverage, man. So they don't want anybody to start out there. And if you question me on that, look at this. Yeah, Gailey, Wade, Garrett, Campo, McCarthy, any one of them guys would ever start after? Did they have to go into a bidding war over those guys? No, they didn't. And so, and the last thing I have is non-confrontational. Man, they want to live in a world where their way is not challenged, man. And so even when Bill Parcells left, Jerry said, hey, I don't have to walk on eggshells anymore. Man, they want to feel comfortable above winning. The criteria that they have for a head coach is just really different than everybody else's head coach. Everything I just mentioned, non-celebrity head coach, Sean Payton is. Not hardly sought after, he will be. Non-confrontational, no, Sean Payton going to confront you. And so those are things that they just don't like. Now, if the criteria was, hey, we want a guy to bring us in here to win, then they would bring him in. But that's just not the Dallas Cowboys criteria. They want to run this thing like a mom-and-pop organization, and they don't want anybody to interfere with that. When you bring in somebody with the credentials and the clout of Sean Payton, then when it is hey, Sean says this, the Joneses say that. Well, we're going to side with Sean because of his credentials, because of his because of who he is and what he's done. And so they don't want nobody in there like that, man. So the next coach is probably going to be Quinn, which I don't like. I love Quinn as the defense coordinator.
Yeah,
and it's not Quinn as a person. It's a lot of people as a person. Excuse me. As a person, I like him. But the thing is, I don't like the buddy, friendliness that he has with the Joneses. Man, you said this before. A little confrontation ain't bad at all, man.
No.
And so that's what the Joneses don't want, man. Remember, it's always about them trying to solidify themselves as quote-unquote football guys.
Okay, which honestly, I can't argue with your reasoning. The ace that I have up my sleeve in regards to Sean Payton is that he is a Jones boy per se, right? Like, he was with the Joneses. They love him a lot. That's one of their guys. The relationship is the one wild card. It's that ace I got, the big joker, whatever you want to call it, up my sleeve in regards to the Sean Payton situation. If this was rando coach Sean McVay, Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, whatever, got fired or retired and was out there, I will 100% agree with you. Yeah, no, they wouldn't do it. But because of the relationship with them and the fact that, if the rumors are true, they actually tried to go get him after the Rams playoff game, but New Orleans kind of nixed that due to some basketball situation. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up. That's kind of where I got the ace, where I can say, well, they have this close relationship, and we know they value that. They do value the relationship a lot, because look at Jason Garrett. They gave Jason Garrett, 10 years, probably 3 or 4 more years than they needed to, and kept him around. He was a Jones's boy, played with the Cowboys when it was in the organization. So, that's the only thing. But everything else you said, if it was an outside coach that doesn't have a relationship with Jerry and Steven, maybe. But they have a good relationship, and I think maybe this could be the optimistic me thinking about this. Jerry looks at it and says, okay, I had Jimmy. I had Bill. I want this route of 8 different head coaches in between, where I didn't let them kind of have their way a bit, and it just ain't work out all the way. I'm okay giving a guy I trust completely a little bit more leeway. That's probably extremely optimistic, B-Bird, so I get you if you ain't feeling that. But maybe that relationship with Payton could hold a little bit of weight.
and that's why it's not 100%. Let me tell you something. I am a big proponent of him being here. I think he's what we need as a culture changer, because the culture needs to be changed, and he would bring that in. He'd be that, the guy that comes in on the wooden horse and then say, okay, yeah, we're going to do it, and then come in and do it his way. I 100% want him here. But here's the deal. If Sean Payton took us to the Super Bowl and won, who would get credit?
Cowboy fans, Sean Payton would. But Jerry probably would.
But that's the issue, though, man.
Okay.
That's the issue. And so he wants a coach. If Gary would have won, hey, he brought him up. We brought him up through our way and this, that, and the other, so he gets his credit for that. And so if these other unassuming coaches win, if an unassuming coach wins, who's going to be the face? And see, that's why I said that criteria. Even if you look at the criteria, Gary fit all that. And so it allows those guys to operate in a position to where they're comfortable and they get the credit and they keep their celebrity. Because if Sean Payton comes here, ain't nobody going to be asking Jerry a whole bunch of questions. Why? Because we know Sean running everything. And so the thing is, it says, okay,
but
do you want to win bad enough to get the credit?
B-Bird, what's crazy about that? I think I've said this a number of times. If you win, you will get credit, though. Right? Like Jerry will get credit for bringing in Sean and letting him do his thing. It's mind-boggling to me. It's like there's a mental block up there where Jerry, the simple way to get credit is to allow somebody else to do the job and do it successfully. And guess who will get the credit? The CEO, right? Like if you run a strong organization, 9 times out of 10, that CEO is going to get credit for it. But if you have drama, it's a failure, the CEO is going to get blamed for it. He don't see that?
Well, he won't get credit. And the thing about it, he won't get the credit that he don't want ownership credit, right? He don't want sit back credit. He wants I got involved in it. I want hey, y'all
credit.
See what I did? He wants general manager credit. He wants all these other kind of things credit. That's what he wants. He does not crave ownership credit. Remember, it's all about the football guy thing. And if Sean comes in, and I'll tell you, this is honest, that he's right. They'll say Jerry won because he finally let somebody come in and take over because his way didn't work. And then Sean came in and Sean way worked. Parade for the Cowboys and parade for Sean Payton.
But this is crazy because you know who's getting credit right now for losing the Super Bowl, but at least getting there? Mike Brown, the Bengals owner.
But for what though?
For stepping back.
For getting out the way. Yeah. For getting out the way. But see, Jerry don't want credit for getting out the way. He wants credit for getting in it.
Ooh, yeah. He want credit for being in it.
He don't want credit. Yeah. That's and if Sean comes in and does this thing in say 1 or 2 years, everybody gonna look at it and say, wait a minute, it took you 26 years to get out the way? That's all you have to do is get out the way? And he doesn't want that, man. That guy rather lose doing it his way than win letting somebody come in. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, I want you in the chat. If you ask me right now who I want as and I've been wanting him over Gary. There was a few times where Gary struggled.
Who that?
And it was some things it was some like talking that Sean Payton may come here. And that sucker Gary found a winning streak every time. I was like, get this stuff started. He did just enough.
Boy,
I swear he finished 8-8 and
he
all
did
this other kind of stuff. And I was like,
just enough. Every time.
Just enough, man. Every time. And I was like, geez Louise, we got to get this guy out of here. And it took 5 more years to get him out, man. And so I've been wanting Sean Payton, and not just for the X's and O's, man, and not – you read something the other day that everybody needs to understand. When they start saying, dude said, Kellen Moore and Sean Payton. Nah, man, you can't even – this dude can't – I always tell y'all, he came up through the mud of coaching.
Yeah.
He came up through a lot of greats. Also, he coached under some guys, y'all, at these little Illinois schools that gave him some stuff to put in his bag. Garrett and Moore, quarterback coach and offensive coordinator. They don't know nothing, man.
We have evidence that Sean Payton has adapted with the league. You know what I'm saying? Like we wouldn't bring in a Sean and have to worry about Sean adapting. We know he can do that.
And I'll tell you this about Sean Payton too, man. He's had some of the worst luck in the playoffs. Now he did one. Man, Then he had the Minneapolis Miracle.
Yep. Yep.
Then he had the worst call in NFL history at his
Terrible.
own house against the Rams.
They go to the Super Bowl.
So he's had people say, well, they only won one Super Bowl. Dude, but I ain't going to lie, man. That's some – I thought about that. I said, boy, if I was a Cowboy fan, I don't know if I can even watch
If I'm
football.
not mistaken, though,
that's non-interference call.
there's only one head coach, and correct me if I'm wrong, in the league right now with multiple Super Bowls, right? One. Bill Belichick.
Yeah, that is.
One. Yeah. We knock these coaches for only winning one Super Bowl with these great quarterbacks as if there's a ton of them winning multiple Super Bowls with great quarterbacks. It hasn't happened. Only one coach, Bill Belichick. It's hard. It is so hard to win a Super Bowl. Hell, we know in Dallas it's hard just to win multiple playoff games. So,
Scott, when was the last time we had a coach here that you feel like that guy is running football operations? I mean, he controls everything from him on down.
I told you
it was Bill.
Bill.
And it's Bill. And I want to tell this to you in the chat, and you know this. If anybody, all those lists I named, if anybody say, well, what about Parcells? He only did that to get the stadium bill passed. And you want to ask me how I know? Because I sent the video,
You did.
the camera phone video to Scott. And if you want to post that, I don't know if you can do that. So if you want to know why he did that, because he wanted to get that $1 billion stadium bill passed, and they knew that that they weren't going, people weren't going to support it if he came rolling in with these figurehead head coaches.
Let me get credentialed first before I post that. I want to be able to be down
Scott,
there and get some access, man.
Hey, look here, man. I just wanted to call because you did ask me about, call in the next day and talk about it. Hey, but again, I'm saying why they might not do it. I'm saying why they probably won't do it. It's all ego-based. But the thing about it is, man, if we keep putting pressure as fans, if we keep, if things aren't going right, I want Sean Payton here. We need a cultural change from the top to the bottom. We need a coach that has the right to tell players what to do and make the moves on field, and somebody that's going to instill confidence in our players and our organization. Sean Payton's that guy, man. And so I'm just thinking that it won't happen, man. But I just wanted to call in and just tell you that, man, and just clarify myself, man. And
I appreciate it, B-Bird. Excellent call as always, man. Thank you. Yeah, I've been really trying to, it's not happening, because I don't want to get my hopes up. I do that a lot with this team. But, man, I would love it. Not going to lie to you. I'd love for that to happen. And unfortunately, like Michael Myers, he ain't going nowhere. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put that in my little soundboard right here. I got a new one coming soon. But my soundboard right here, and every time a loss happens, or every time his name pop up after a loss, we're going to play the Michael Myers music. Because he ain't going nowhere. Right? Hell, man, I might have to actually change the title of the show. We might have to move this thing to tomorrow, talking about the offensive line camp battles, because we already here at 9:19, and I ain't even start yet. And I don't want to do y'all dirty and just fly through these things. I got a couple more callers. The chat is pretty lit in here. Y'all got some good things going on. So we might go ahead. Tomorrow, it can still be a TV rollout day. We can just kind of, go through the offensive line battles and see what happens. But yeah, man, we're already deep in here, and I don't want to rush through this. So let's get to 912 on the horn. What's goody? What it do?
What's good?
What's up, man? Who this?
Can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear.
This is James, Mr. Unpopular Opinion.
Mr. Unpopular Opinion in the building. What's goody?
Okay, so look, first I want to address the offensive line real quick. I think a lot of people don't understand how much you can improve an offensive lineman by replacing one weak link, right? We had the finesse of, one of my favorite offensive linemen, because I'm a big Longhorn fan, but he was a failure at the NFL level. I'm sorry. I nicknamed him Texas Hold'em. I think replacing him with Tyler Smith.
Oh my God, you can't gloss over that, James. That is a brilliant name. Why did nobody come up with that during the season? You're talking about Connor Williams, right?
Yes, a.k.a. Texas Hold'em.
Texas Hold'em. Oh man, that's just great. Go ahead.
So, going forward about the whole CeeDee Lamb thing, I don't know. Someone in the chat, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but has Dak, number one receiver, ever led in receiving yards?
Oh gosh, no.
I don't know.
But that's not what
I
Mel
don't
was
think
saying. Mel's not saying they're going to lead in receiving yards. Mel's saying 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. I think that is very doable.
Okay. That I hope. Now,
I mean,
as far
why
as the
would
whole
James?
situation,
Hold on real
no,
quick.
go ahead. No, go
Before
ahead.
you move forward, James. CeeDee Lamb had 1,100 yards last year, and he missed a game and a half, and he had Amari Cooper on the
But this is
outside.
a different situation, though. I mean, I remember, what was his name? Greg Jennings from the Packers talked about when he was behind Donald Driver versus when he was the number one guy, and he said it's completely different. Now, I don't know. I never played receiver in NFL. That was his take on it. He said it's much more difficult when the defensive coordinator is scheming to stop you.
I'm not saying that it's not. It's not, dude. I'm not saying that. But Donald Driver was more of a slot guy too, anyway. But listen, man, you can still be schemed for and all this other stuff. But if you're getting 150 targets, 160, 70 targets, and you get 80, 90 receptions, unless you averaging 8 yards per reception, you're going to crack 1,200. 1,200 yards is not some crazy number, bro. He can get 1,200 yards, and Cowboys cannot be great. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay. Like, think about one of the greatest performances I've ever seen from a wide receiver, which is Randy Moss's rookie year.
Yeah.
The defensive coordinator still had to worry about Chris Carter.
Yeah.
And you couldn't just invest everything on Randy Moss, despite how good he was, because Chris Carter carved you up. Who does CeeDee Lamb have to be like, okay, I'm tired as hell, my ankle hurt. Who else can get open to give me a little?
That's not going to get CeeDee Lamb's number. So him being tired and them going.
Be that guy.
That does. We're talking about getting the number. We're not talking about him having a guy. Hey man, I'm tired, man. You go get a catch. That's not what I'm saying. CeeDee Lamb is entering that point in his career where, okay, I had 2 years as a number 2 guy. It's time for me to be number 1. I think that's the best. That's the best route to go about it for a young guy.
That's a hard jump.
All right.
It's a difficult jump to make.
It's really, truly not that serious of a jump going into year 3. It's a tough jump adjusting year 1. He's going into year 3. I don't think it's that difficult.
Greg Jennings disagrees.
I just disagree with Greg. I disagree with Greg Jennings, and he's an NFL player. If he was coming in as year 1 guy, and he had to be the wide receiver 1, difficult jump. He's going into year 3 with the same quarterback under the same system. The most difficult thing is going to be adjusting to teams, adjusting to you. Sure. But you're talking about just getting 100 more yards the next year. That ain't difficult to me. That's 100 more yards. I'm not asking him to give me 600 more yards. I'm not asking him to give me Justin Jefferson. I'm just asking him to give me 100 more yards.
Okay. I'll put it this way. From our defense perspective, what do you think is easier to do as a receiver? To get open versus Anthony Brown, or to get open versus Trayvon Diggs with Hooker watching you?
Say this again.
What do you think is
You're
more
real low.
Getting open versus Anthony Brown only versus getting open with Trayvon Diggs and Hooker watching you?
Why wouldn't
That's the difference between number one and
why
being
wouldn't
number
you
two.
reverse that? Why would Anthony Brown not have safety help? If you're going to give me one-on-one with Anthony Brown, why the hell would I go towards the NFL leading receiver or leading interception guy plus the safety over top?
Anthony Brown didn't have safety help. Ask Antonio Brown.
Bro, you keep on moving
Anthony
this
Brown
damn
is on an
goalpost, sir. You gave me
I'm
the
not moving the
example. You gave me an example that made no sense. Why would I not double the guy on Anthony Brown? Why am I doubling the guy on Trayvon?
Because you're going to put safety help on the best receiver.
Not
I can't let
yeah,
this guy be that deep.
with the worst corner, not the best corner.
Anthony Brown was a good corner.
Sir, I'm talking
But
about
he didn't have
you just
safety
keep
help like Diggs
you
does.
just keep moving this goalpost. I'm talking
Remember,
about
even when
the
the
example
Patriots-
you
even
gave
when the
me.
Patriots caught that long pass,
I'm putting
you blame KZ,
Hooker
right?
over Anthony Brown. I'm not putting him over Trayvon Diggs in this scenario, sir.
But we knew that KZ watched Trayvon Diggs, man. Remember the long Patriots touchdown?
James,
Blame
go to
KZ,
go to your
not
next
Diggs.
point, man. We're gonna keep talking in circles, James. Go to your next point. What was your next point about Jerry Jones or something?
Okay, so what I had to say about Jerry Jones is, I know a lot of Cowboy fans are kind of upset with the way he runs things, but the Cowboys are a brand to him, and I kind of feel like anyone who deviates from their brand, I don't think he likes around. I don't think he just doesn't want to win. I think he's kind of more so focused on the brand that is the Dallas Cowboys, which, I mean, and in that factor, he is the best. I mean, the Cowboys are one of the most profitable franchises in sports, in all sports. So, I mean, as far as the brand is concerned, he's the best. Winning? I don't know.
Yeah, I consider him a Hall of Fame owner, right? Business owner, whatever, brand, whatever you want to call it.
To the brand.
Hall of Fame general manager? I hope he ain't in the Hall of Fame for that.
Right. I don't think he's like, I don't want to win. I want to do it my way. He's like one of those parents that takes his son to the football game and he's like yelling over the coach at his son. Like, that's the Cowboys is his baby. And
James,
that's his brand.
Remember, he used to come down to and a lot of fans know this in the chat. He used to come down to the sidelines during those 90s eras.
It's his brand.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, but yeah, but I want to apologize. I ain't want to make it sound like I was talking in circles. I just think,
bro, you know me, man. Don't take this personal. Don't take this personal. You know how we gonna do. You know how we gonna do.
We all want the same. We all want the same end goal.
100%.
We want the Cowboys to win. Period. So we on the same team.
Facts.
That's what they call. But I hope that replacing Tyler Smith off the offensive line, because we ain't talked much about the offensive line. I hope replacing Tyler Smith on the offensive line can make that unit better. Because they say a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Hopefully that he brings in that mob mentality like he wants to.
I think you'll see an impact. He'll have an impact. And my apologies, y'all. We'll do the offensive line tomorrow. I don't want to rush through this. I want to make sure
we didn't get a chance to get into that.
Yeah. I got y'all tomorrow.
I feel like a football team is only as good as the offensive line. If the offensive line trash, your football team will be trash too. I mean, it's so much Dak can do when he's running for his life.
I mean, I can't. There's proof last year though, right, with the Bengals, but it makes things extremely hard on the rest of your team if your offensive line is not at least serviceable. Let's just say that, right? Like if you don't have a serviceable offensive line, now you're asking your scheme has to be better and your players have to play way above expectations. Your defense got to be really good.
And the most penalized team in football,
you can't do that either. So that's another thing.
Yeah, can't do that either. Yeah, overcoming 3rd and 15 is you're asking too much of Dak.
Go.
I think Dak is a serviceable game manager, but come on now,
wow.
Help him out, offensive line.
Wow, James, he called him a serviceable game manager. That don't sound like that sound like a serviceable game manager. That sound like year one Dak. That sound like a rookie.
No. I'm talking about he can manage the game.
Yeah.
He's not going to put the team on the back end and get the dub, but he will manage the game.
Okay. All right. Hey, Jen, appreciate the call, man. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this wide receiver thing real quick with the chat, because you're not wrong on one part of what you said, and I want to talk about it. Appreciate you, dog.
Okay.
So what I mean by where he's not wrong at is it's going to be more difficult. I don't disagree with that. Like being the number one receivers, it's going to come with more things. I don't think it should be difficult to get 1,200 though. What I was answering Mel's question, because he said, "Well, has Dak ever had a guy lead the league in receiving?" No, he hasn't, and he doesn't need to. Not when you've been a primarily run team. But if CeeDee Lamb can't get 1,200 yards this year, I'll do this a lot. One of two things happen, right? Jalen Tolbert, Washington, Schultz, all these guys had a fantastic quality year, right? And he spread it around like 2019. CeeDee Lamb gets 1,100, 1,000 yards, 8-9 touchdowns, but everybody else chimes in 800-something, 6-something, and he spreads it around. Who's really going to complain about that situation, right? Or CeeDee Lamb and this passing offense is atrocious. Dak does not play well at all at the quarterback position, and you're talking about him throwing for less than 4,000 yards, CD's only topping out at 1,000 and some change. 5 touchdowns again. The rookie struggles a bit. Washington's not it. Schultz has to be the de facto leading receiver or second leading receiver. I think those are the only 2 ways that CeeDee Lamb doesn't top 1,200 yards this year. I could throw a third one in there if you want, but we've been bashing on this dude for a long time. Or Kellen Moore just literally has a brain fart and doesn't know how to scheme up your best wide receiver. So maybe there's 3. Nah, man, y'all. Am I tripping? Like, am I tripping on that? And I hate to be like, oh well, Sky, you ain't. How you disagree with a wide receiver? To an extent, I don't want to do that now, y'all. I ain't no NFL player. You know what I'm saying? I know it's going to be different for CeeDee Lamb. I get that. Although Greg Jennings was not CeeDee Lamb, talent command. No offense to you, Greg Jennings. But if CD had to take on that load year 1, I think it would have looked like Dez Bryant, where there was some big plays, but there was some issues in communication. I should have asked him this. This is almost identical. Let me go check something out real quick. And I got you, D-Shift. Hold tight, because I know you got something for me on this. Very interesting. Okay, Dez Bryant in year 3. 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns. Dez Bryant ain't have no Chris Carter over there. Dez Bryant ain't have no Donald Driver. Like Donald Driver, man. No offense to Donald Drivers, but we ain't Chris Carter. Dez Bryant had Terrence Williams. Okay? A wide receiver 2 you can get every single year in the draft. And that's, he had a solid career in Dallas. But Dez Bryant had 1,300 yards and 92 receptions as the wide receiver 1 with no other guy on the other side that teams had to game plan for. So just because you don't have an absolute stud oppo of you does not mean that you cannot produce from a statistical standpoint. Does that equate to wins? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about Lamb being able to get off. If he can't, he either just sucked this year, Dak sucked this year, or everybody else just balled out and they spread the ball around, or Kellen just don't know how to get these boys to rock. Okay? That's the only way I see Lamb not having a career year with Dak Prescott. And I digress. Let me get into the chat. Well, he's not. Derek says Sky CD isn't. He's not. CeeDee Lamb had 1,100 yards though last year and 6 touchdowns, whatever it was. So you don't have to be Dez to be productive. My point is, at the same times in their careers are very similar. Dez Bryant, year 3, breakout season. CeeDee Lamb as the number 1 wide receiver. CeeDee Lamb, year 3, as the number 1 wide receiver. Dak Prescott is going into year 7 as a starting quarterback, starting to see things better, understand things better now, right? A veteran. Tony Romo, if I'm not mistaken, this was about year 7-ish, 8, 9, whatever. I think it was about Romo's 2006, became a full-time starter 07, so about year 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, year 6. Year 6, but this is about year 9 in the league. But it was year 6 as a starter. So their situations are similar. Veteran quarterback, been around, seen a ton, finally has his number 1 as just a number 1, and then some other guys he can get involved. We making this seem like it's rocket science. Adrian says CD will easily get those numbers minus an injury. And I think that's what me and James were saying. Barring an injury, I don't know how he doesn't do that, man. A couple more, then I'm going to get to D-Shift. Rodney, remember what happened last year and the year before that, changing of the offensive line. We still haven't got it right yet. Same thing applies for offensive receiving cores. We did okay with Amari. All right. James says Dez had Tony. CD got Dak. What? Let me find James. You might have to call back in. Let me find out. What are you saying? What are you saying? That Dak can't throw the ball or something? Y'all blow my mind with this, man. Dez had Tony. Like Tony was some guy. Tony literally was Dak Prescott of that era. A dude y'all didn't like. That could sling the rock, put up the numbers, and didn't have any playoff wins. There is literally no difference. Both of them got hurt. Both of them had double-digit win seasons. Both of them, without them, the team was worse. Both of them put up numbers. Both of them had fourth quarter numbers. Now, Dak hasn't been that way the last couple years. But Dak led the league in fourth quarter comebacks and things like that the first 3 years in his career. He was literally the white Dak Prescott to Cowboys Nation. Now, all of a sudden, Tony Romo is this god. He did no wrong. He was so amazing. Just the elite of the elitist. What are we doing? D Schiff. What up, man?
Man, look, dog. We treat that first and foremost like it's like, all right, so you have your super brainiac kids who probably got the 4.4s, 4.5s. We treat Dak like he got like a 2.9, you know? Like he may not be up there with the Rodgers or Mahomes, but he's definitely an honor grab, bro. Like definitely. I think on the terms of when you talk about CeeDee Lamb, with the Michael Gallup thing and the whole taking away, having the coverage from the number one cornerback.
Sorry, I totally disrespected MG. When MG come back, he ain't sweet. So let's not act like Michael Gallup ain't gonna be on the other side. But I digress. Go ahead.
No. It's a 17-game season, so everybody's acting like those first 4 or 5 games. That's just the end of the season. When our biggest argument is what the Cowboys are going to do in the playoffs. I think even if we don't win the division, I feel like we can still grab one of those wild card spots. In which, if you don't have the number one seed, you got to do it anyways in the wild card round. So, I don't think anyone's banging at the table. I think we hope to be a number one team, but I don't think it's impossible to make the playoffs. So, when you're talking about being in the playoffs and what you could potentially have as a team, granted, if everyone stays healthy, and that's always a thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're not healthy at your core positions, what are we talking about, you know? So, I think can
you give me and honestly, James, thank you for this topic because I might have to break this up. Can you give me your opinion on that? Do you think that CeeDee Lamb is going to be capped this year because he doesn't have Amari Cooper over there? Like, do you think CeeDee Lamb is going to be worse?
Well, no, because I think you have to also granted the fact that he missed a game and a half. So if we're playing this as a stats game, if we're determining how great he is because of stats, then he would have definitely had that 1,200 yards. I think there was times where you had to really make a decision as to who you wanted to be the focal point of the offense, and not to mention the first beginning of the season, you were a very run-heavy team. I think the Cowboys were, running so much as far as, every receiver couldn't always be involved, even with Gallup being out. So to give you a definitive answer, I think CeeDee Lamb is going to, I guess.
I could see if CeeDee Lamb was Terrence Williams. You know what I mean? Now Terrence Williams the number one wide receiver without Dez Bryant? I can't see him doing that. You know what I mean?
Are we also saying CeeDee Lamb isn't going to get better than year 2 CeeDee Lamb?
I think he will be.
So if he comes in better, and if he's also creating those mismatches and the need for those double teams, then you're essentially getting other guys open, right? So you still have a number one receiver. Like, you don't have a guy to where you're not in a position where you don't have anybody who can win one-on-one matchups. And then not to mention what you have in tight end. You know, you have either
I think Gallup can.
The 6th-ranked tight end or Dak's just making average guys look great. I mean, pretty good. I'll say pretty good.
I would tell you this. I like my odds one-on-one with Michael Gallup.
So, I mean, either way, I mean, Gallup or CeeDee, they're going to draw the number 1 cornerback, and then the other guy's going to get the double team.
And why are we acting like just because you get the number 1 cornerback, bro, like they can't get got?
I mean, how many do you have out there?
Yeah. There are not 32 lockdown corners.
I mean, if we're playing a stats game, then yeah, CeeDee Lamb's going to get his stats. If that's what we're defining as his.
But that's what Mel said. He was like, you know, is he crazy for thinking that CeeDee Lamb can have the career wide receiver year with Dak Prescott, and that's 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns? I say, yeah. I mean, the yards is the easy. I think that's the easy part. The touchdowns are a bit different, but I think he could definitely get 1,200 yards unless XYZ happens.
Exactly, man. I ain't going to take up too much time, Scott. Just, you know, wide receivers is a sensitive topic for me, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right, Scott.
Thank you. It looked like I opened up I did not. This was not my intentions because I promise y'all I've literally got into fights, almost physically, about Tony Romo. So I didn't mean to open up a wound with Dak versus Tony. That was not the case. I'm just bringing up the fact that, you know how when somebody dies or they retire or the further they're removed from the game, the higher they get elevated by the fans. That's where I was going with it. Don't get it twisted. I was riding with Tony Romo when he was with Dallas, even through all those ups and downs. It sucked, you know, going through the snap, fumble, and the interceptions and the failures in the play. That sucked. But I still was riding for Tony. So this isn't a Dak versus Tony thing. When he said what he said, I'm like, what does that mean? Why are we acting like we got an incompetent quarterback here? We don't. Yeah, I did. My apologies, Professor O. He said Sky just disturbed the beehive. And I don't do that. I don't ever bring up Tony. I'm not the ones that need to go make a Tony Romo, Dak Prescott thing and throw it on. I don't care about that. He gone. People act like CeeDee and Gallup both wasn't giving Ramsey the work when they had that joint practice. Hey, forget the practice. Right? Michael Gallup gave Ramsey the work in the game. Which goes to the point that I said earlier that Michael H is saying, y'all doing the most. Number 1 just mean you're the best corner on your team, not necessarily elite. Yeah, man. Yeah, I definitely keep seeing Romo in the chat. That was not my intentions, y'all. My bad for opening up that. And I see 9 Deep is a Dak detractor too. He says Dak's roses smell like boo-boo. I think, maybe now I'm starting to see the true colors of some of y'all. And that's not saying y'all got to go somewhere. It's just that now I know if I'm having a conversation with y'all, what angle you're coming from. Now I know how James feel about Dak. I know how 9 Deep feel about him. I know how some of y'all others in there feel about him too. So I know how we got to debate this thing. Y'all don't fool with him. That's cool. That's cool. But don't tell me the other dude did some astronomically different things. Didn't. Uncut, why y'all doubting CeeDee? I don't know. James said Romo had less picks than Aikman and Jay and Clint Stoynt, or Aikman and Jay. Who's Jay? Jay who? Jay Cutler? Now we're going back to Aikman. I don't want to do that to y'all. I don't want to bring up who's the best quarterback in the history of cat. I don't. At this point in time, y'all, yeah, we probably could do stuff like that. I just don't care. We got a top 10 quarterback right now. I want to do what's best to try to win with him right now. I don't care about Troy Aikman and Tony Romo at this point. I don't. Respectfully. Samuel Rowe. What up, man?
Hey, Sky, how are you?
I'm good, man. What's good with you?
Yeah, so I had three things. So the first thing actually was regarding the Romo Dak thing. I'll say in Dak's defense, like I would say around like week 9, 10 last year, I was like really down on Dak, and then after the end of the year,
A lot of us.
after the end of the season, I was
disappointed.
Yeah, that was kind of disappointed too. I think that's a great word, but like with some time to like obviously over the off season and stuff, and when you think about it, you take things into consideration. Like I think plus when you look at the ranking from ESPN, when the executives or people were kind of polled, I think that's about right. We have like a really good quarterback now. He's not. He doesn't have like Josh Allen arm talent or whatever have you,
Right.
but he's still like a really good quarterback. So like, and you got to take things into consideration. I do think there's some people in Cowboys Nation who take it too far, and it's like they're apologists, and it's like he could do no wrong, and that's what kind of gets on my nerves. But I think like there's you just got to, those people they put like the fanatic and fan, and so you just got to put that into consideration also. But
That's fair. There are extremes on both sides of these. You're right. There's no denying that.
And then my second point was with respect to CeeDee Lamb. The one thing I've been hearing, people have been really just saying, we're going to give him more targets, and like, I don't know if it's just going to be that easy. Like one, Coop is gone. That's like a factor. And then like two, I think you were saying that like, I don't necessarily have the biggest faith that Moore will, scheme, whatever you want to call it, scheme him open, whatever have you, just because like that hasn't been his MO so far.
Right.
Like I hope that he changes, but like I think we got to have some tempered expectations about like his ability just to get targets given what's around him. And that's maybe like just saying like it's not all on Dak. It's like, Kellen Moore and other people within the organization also playing a role in our success. And so I just think we just got to take that consideration. And my last point is like I have a question that maybe next time you have the doc on, just because I heard, I think maybe from Brian Bodis or someone, that like there was like a newer version of the ACL surgery, and he thought that either him or someone else, I don't want to, like, it was someone like reputable within the Cowboys community saying that they think that Gallup may have had that type of newer ACL surgery. That's why his recovery may have been going as smooth or maybe more quickly than people would expect. So I was interested in knowing like if anyone had any context on that, like from the doc next time you talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, I'll ask him about that if it happened. I mean, even if it's newer, I mean, how many people have come back from an ACL injury? He got it, or ACL surgery. He got it in February, and he'll be suited up in September. What is that? 7 months? Like full going, just getting on the field and just running and ready to hit in 7 months? I don't know. I mean, maybe y'all could tell me who has come back and did that in that short period of time. I know Danny brought up something yesterday. I saw in the chat. I didn't bring it up. Somebody can maybe confirm this. They said Michael Gallup has some type of, I hate to use the word disease. I can't remember what he said, but he has a condition that makes him heal slower.
I heard that too. Yeah, I don't know how people, like, I've heard that too. I'm not even sure how people would know that, but yeah.
I don't know either. Like, I haven't dug around on that. He said that. That's interesting if it's the case. But 7 months, man, I can't see that happening.
Yeah, I'm hopeful, but, like, I feel you. The only thing, like, I know Cam Akers last year came back early from that. I think he had Achilles, not ACL. So sometimes people do heal more quickly. Yeah. But, yeah. All right, that's it for me.
All right, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, Cam Akers tore his Achilles and came back for the season, and we all were shocked at that one. So I guess there is, it could happen. But I'll try to ask around and see if there's something with Michael Gallup's injury that allows him to heal quicker because of the surgery he got. But I still expect to see Michael Gallup towards the end of September at the earliest, as opposed to game 1. That would be a shocker to me. A good one if he's fully recovered, but I don't want to rush him back. And I don't think they should either. They invested in him. So DP said the Cam Akers was 8 months. I thought it was shorter than that. Honestly. This is true too. Times have changed. Special case says Sky. Medicine as technology has come a long way. 100% it has. Tristan Hill tore his ACL in, I want to say, an October game. Didn't come back to Dallas Cowboys until November of the next year. Blake Jarwin tore his ACL in September. Didn't come back to the Dallas Cowboys until September. So, those are two recent examples of Cowboys ACLs where it took about a year or over a year to be fully recovered from their recent ACL surgeries. And this is recent. This isn't like this happened 5 years ago. This just happened. So I still, man, and I'll come on and be like, dang, that's crazy. He came back in 7 months. I can't see it. The doc, when we had him on, he said, man, everything would have to be so perfect for him to come back hitting the ground running after 7 months of ACL surgery. So we'll keep an eye on it. I still expect him by October at the latest, late September at the earliest. Come on, Toxic. That's wrong. DT, wide receiver, not a good comp. A lot more weight in Tristan's knee versus Gallup. This is true. What about Jarwin's then? What about Jarwin? Jarwin took a year to come back. A little less. I think 11 months. 11 months to come back. Who else tore their ACL recently as a wide receiver? We want to look at comps and see when they came back. You usually hear 9 to 12 months from an ACL injury or ACL surgery. I've yet to hear 7. He said Jarwin couldn't heal, period. Can Michael Gallup? Michael Gallup sat out like 10 weeks from a calf strain. A calf strain. Not saying that's something. Oh, anybody can come back. I'm not saying all that. I'm just saying. He was out for, 2.5 months from a calf strain. Tore his ACL. And got surgery in February. Are you telling me, DP, you think he'll be back in September to game 1? Is that what you're telling me? Gallup has had a history of leg injuries. I think the last thing we should be calling Jarwin is a guy that can't heal. Gallup is an injured guy. That he is what he is at this point. He is an injured guy. This is facts. It's just a matter of can he avoid the injuries this year. This is true too, Marcus. You said you got to understand the ACL is very important for a wide receiver running routes. I just wouldn't rush it, man. Me personally, take your time. We signed to a 5-year deal. Last thing we want to do is get you out here and you're still recovering. Damn, DP said they don't expect him for the bye week. Okay. That's a long time. Yeah. Let's get some more here. We do got Nacho on the horn. So we definitely calling the audible today, y'all. I'll change the title on this. I'll switch the thumbnail and all that good stuff. And we'll pick this we'll pick this offensive line stuff back up tomorrow. These are the conversations that are very interesting, where there's a disagreement in the Cowboys nation and we talk this thing through. Derek don't like the wide receiver room. Michael Gallup, when healthy, is a solid piece. Yeah. And that's my bad, Cowboys nation. If y'all was probably like, well, Sky, tell him about Michael Gallup. I agree. I think, Michael Gallup ain't a wide receiver one. He ain't the Odell Beckham in his prime, Mike Evans or anything, but you can't tell me he ain't Chris Godwin. When healthy, sure, he's Chris Godwin. Sure, he's a fantastic wide receiver too. And quite frankly, if you don't want to pay attention to him or whatever it may be, I think he can definitely be a really good receiver against one-on-one. He got the body type. He's physical. He can go up and get it from 50-50. Now, when you get him back will be important into James's argument of having a guy that takes some stress off. But if teams want to go ahead and double and triple whatever CeeDee Lamb and let Michael Gallup one-on-one, let's do it. And hell, Michael Gallup will get you 1,200 yards. he probably won't. But Michael Gallup will be that type of guy is what I'm saying. Like, he's a guy that can succeed in one-on-ones. Appreciate you, Marcelo. He said, love to hear this show while driving to work. I'm going to go ahead and leave these lines open for a few more minutes, probably till 10. We'll lock the phones up, and then we'll finish out the show. 351-999-3787 if you want to get up in here. Good stuff today from y'all. Your son is got a bionic ACL, Mark. He said, my son tore his ACL his senior season in high school early in the year and was cleared and ready for his freshman year in college. 6 months. Your son got a bionic ACL. I ain't seen it. I haven't seen, and I could be wrong, but y'all find this for me. I haven't seen an NFL player come back from an ACL injury in 7 months and ready to go. On the field, playing in the game after 7 months. Less if you really think about it. He got the surgery mid-February. So we're talking 6 and some change. Toxic. Nah, I ain't calling Michael Soft. Nah, I ain't doing that, man. All right, we got 937, got Nacho, and we're going to lock these things. What's up, 937?
Hey, am I on?
Yep, you are live.
Hey, I'm calling to talk about defense, man.
All right, what you got for us on this defense?
Yeah, I used to be on a board, and I used to tell everybody no defense, no rings. And I think we finally got a defense. And, you know, I'm very excited to see him play this year.
Yeah, I think the defense, to me, is going to have to carry this team. If it's going to be a Super Bowl year, it has to be on the back of the defense.
So who do you see starting as far as the front line, the front four?
You know, we might have to start putting an asterisk next to the name, the term starter, because of the rotation that we do here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
but right now in July, right, we all I say this to y'all all the time. Hey, we could change our mind here come September. Think we'll see more things. Probably Armstrong, Osa Neville at defensive tackle, and then obviously DeMarcus Lawrence.
Okay. So are you worried about linebacker? I think that's the spot I might be a little worried about too. If like if an injury happens, God forbid, I think they need to really, maybe go out and do something at linebacker.
Yes. That is the one position that I am most worried about on this defense is the depth at linebacker.
Okay. Yeah, my son surprised me Father's Day and gave me a Diggs jersey. So, I'm happy about that, and I can't wait to see Diggs play again this year. I'm really expecting him to have another big year also.
Yeah, we did a fan question. Remember, I don't know if you tuned in last week where we did the fan survey, and we asked, hey, how many interceptions do you think Diggs will have this year? I actually put him between 5 and 7, but I think he'll still continue to progress. Less interceptions to me does not mean a worse year. It could potentially mean a better year.
Exactly. I agree with you on that. And finally, on the safety spot, I think, finally we have that locked tight, I think. I love all the safeties we got, even some of the guys that, have some potential.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the safety room. In a weird way, though, I talked about this earlier this week, it may not be as deep per se as it was last year. I think we were legitimately 4 deep of 4 starters. This year, I think we're 3 deep, but I love our starters better than last year, if that makes sense. So I think we improved because we improved at the top. I still love Donovan Wilson. He's your third safety going in, so maybe he plays longer. But that 4th spot, which will be the free safety spot, I think it's up for grabs. You got Israel Mukwamu, who probably is the leader in the clubhouse right now. The young buck, undrafted HBCU kid, Marquise Bell, Tyler Coyle, and I think there's one more I'm missing. But it's up for grabs for that 4th spot.
Right, and on the offensive side of the ball, have you heard anything about the Houston kid? I've watched video of him, and he looks, really tight too.
Houston kid, say this again. What position?
Oh, yeah, right.
No, what position are you talking?
Receiver.
Wide receiver.
Right, the wide receiver.
I'm
What
gonna
do you
need
think of him?
I'm gonna need a name because you're talking. I don't recall a guy from Houston. It could be super down roster. I think that the last name that I'm kind of at is Jakari Robertson or Roberson.
Oh, okay, got you.
If you can give me the name, I could maybe.
Okay.
Dennis Houston. Oh, you're saying Houston. I thought you meant kid from Houston. Dennis Houston. Yeah, I don't really have any. I can't give you anything confidently on Dennis Houston in regards to making this team. My three guys as undrafteds are Freifogel, Drummond, and Roberson. For rookies.
Gotcha.
For rookies. For two guys, TJ Vasher, Brandon Smith, those type of dudes.
Yeah, everybody seems to be excited about Vasher.
Man, there's a lot to be excited about. 6'6", 225, man. That's fun right there if he can put it together.
Yeah, but it seems like every year we had that one receiver that everybody gets excited about, but they never really,
Yeah, there's that happens. You know what I'm saying? That happens. But right now, this is a get excited season for individual players.
Right. Well, I really appreciate you, man, and your show, and you seem like a nice young man, man.
Thank you, sir.
I hope you have all the luck in the world, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you for listening, man. I say this all the time. Would not be a show if y'all don't listen. So thank you.
Okay, then. So God bless you, man. Take care of yourself.
You too, sir. Have a good day. I'm gonna lock these up. I let these get full here. So I want to make sure I wasn't wrong on this because I know Adrian Peterson is a bionic man himself. Looking at the article from Yahoo, Adrian Peterson came back in 9 months. It took Adrian Peterson 9 months. And I remember when that happened, because remember, what year was this, y'all? 2013. At that point in time, ACLs were still a thing where it's like, damn, he got ACLs. It's going to be out for a year. Like a full-blown 12 months was the norm. And then when he came back, and in fact, we talked about this with the doc. Maybe I need to bring this up again. But the doc talked about how the Adrian Peterson surgery became the new standard of like, what did y'all do? Let's incorporate that. And if you notice, the time frame shifted from 12 plus to 9 to 12, even though years back ACL used to be career ending. So it took Adrian Peterson 9 months. We'll see what happens here with Michael Gallup. Roshan said, young man, Sky, 63 years old. Yeah, that year was crazy. Let me tell you about that year. He won me. No, that was his rookie year. My bad. His rookie year, he won me my fantasy league. I drafted Adrian Peterson. I think it might have been top 10. And he won me my fantasy league. But that was a year he won MVP. Nacho 832602. What's up, Nacho?
My man, hey, good morning. I'm gonna busy go about pay out here, but you know what? I had to call in because boy, it hit my spot when the whole Romo and Dak started. It's a lot of the heated debates we have with my buddies up here. But so let me kind of just say my view and my opinion on that, the Dak and Romo. I tell you what, Romo the game had slowed down for him towards the tail end of his career. He was really coming onto his own and really reading defenses and becoming a great quarterback. And if it wasn't because of the injuries, I think Tony Romo could have really maybe elevated us to that championship level. And maybe, if we would have had the right coaching staff and the defense to help him, maybe we could have won a Super Bowl with Romo. And I know that Jerry Jones to this day regrets not putting in everything together for him. The difference, in my opinion, with Dak and Romo is that, in my view, I think in Dak Prescott, what we have is a more mentally tougher player, a guy that's not going to completely get down on himself and just be down and out. He is more of a leader in that locker room, inside and out. And I just feel that he's just a more durable, more stronger, more mentally quarterback than Tony Romo. And my hope is that it's going to be A or B. Either A, he's going to, elevate us, and eventually, now that he's on his, what is this now, Sky? His seventh? Is he on his seventh year now?
Seventh year. You're 7, age 29.
7. Okay, there we go. So no more. This is it. This is where you've been through it all. You've gone through many coordinators, quarterback coaches, this, that. It's time for him to step up and raise his game to another level. If he does not do that, then the conversation can go back to what I feel is probably going to be, Dak and Romo are very similar in that they were those players that were not necessarily a first-round draft pick. One was undrafted, if I'm correct, and then Dak was a fourth-round pick for us that ended up being really good players, good stats, were close. So that's kind of what I see in
I think that's
Romo Dak,
fair. I think that's totally
right.
Fair. Like, we have to see Dak take the next step in his individually. And remember, we had an entire show on this. I think I talked about it being,
Absolutely.
3 leaning on Dak's strengths and some of the things that I forget the title, but we needed to see him kind of go back to some of the things he was good at and then kind of, continue to evolve at some of the things he's still good at. But this is definitely a crucial year from an independent standpoint. He'll be around regardless what happens, barring injury. But individually, you want to see him take the next step personally. And I don't really have a reason to doubt that he will, because he's done that. Barring injury, he's done that. So, but he'll get judged on the team's success. So I tried to separate it during that show. I'm like, let's just talk about him individually. Individually, we want to see him take a next step. And then we'll add the team stuff in there if the Cowboys get to the playoffs. But I think you could literally come away from this season with Dak improving, but Dallas might not win the Super Bowl. Like, that can still happen.
Now, and absolutely, I feel you on that. And then it's going to be a thing whether the McCarthy and Kellen Moore era, if that's going to help him, or obviously it's pretty frustrating to be looking ahead and thinking, okay, maybe Sean comes in and finally, I think Sean Payton has made it very clear that he would love to work with the Dak Prescott. So just the vision of that, of a potential possibility happening. That, whatever that might be. But anyways, let me just
in closing,
one last thing. I got to run here.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb, yes, CeeDee Lamb came from a great program. CeeDee Lamb is a stud receiver, a kid now that's got to take his game to another level. And I believe he understands that you know what, I'm the guy now. It's him and Gallup, and this is their team going forward. I don't see why CeeDee Lamb does not give 8 to 10 touchdowns and 1,200 plus yards. And I think that's going to happen. And he's now going to be the guy that needs to have that mindset of, hey, you know what? Give me the rock. Let's go. So,
true.
That's my take on that. I just wanted to just chime in on that whole Romo Dak, because
I got you.
Let me tell you, over here, man, that's a battle. That's a battle all the time. But hey, listen, enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for taking my call.
No problem.
Have a good one.
Thank you, man.
Bye-bye.
Will, don't do this. Just don't even. Dallas 8-9. Dalton went 5-5. Dak went 1-3. Dallas, what are you doing? Don't come in here and do that and just dip out. What are you saying? Don't hide behind stuff like that. What's my mantra on this channel? I'm trying to fight through it, Roshan. Y'all know me. I'm trying to find something else for y'all, and I saw this nonsense. What do you mean, sir? Say it with your chest. Put it on wax so I know. And while you do that, I want to see if I can find this. Okay. I found it. If y'all want, let's take a listen. All right. My bad for that pause. I found the audio on the Gallup thing, and I want to just listen to that part about it. But I'm coming back in the chat. I'm looking for Dallas 8-9 next scapegoat. Nothing. Okay. Say it with your chest. That's all I'm saying. And he gone. Nothing. All right. Well, let's listen to this real quick. Turn this off. I'll try to pull up the visual too for y'all. But this is the little chat I had with the doc about this Michael Gallup thing. It wasn't bad reviews from him. I'm not saying Michael Gallup gonna be out for eight weeks, but it was just on the timetable and what he talked about here. From his ACL injury in August, but he got the surgery in February. Two-part. Why would a player wait that long to get the surgery? And is the 7 or 8 month recovery an ideal recovery?
Sure. No, that's a great question. And, ACL injury is so common nowadays in football. And we have made tremendous advances in, how we treat ACL injuries and the recovery path for patients and specifically our athletes, our high-level athletes. In answering the first part, as far as the delay in surgery, oftentimes surgical intervention will take place sooner than that. And some of the things that can come up that might delay it are, lots of swelling in the knee, decreased range of motion. We really want to make sure that prior to fixing an ACL, we want to make sure that patient's motion is really back to normal and they've got good extension and good flexion. One of the risks to post-operative stiffness is actually preoperative stiffness. And so we really want to try and let the injury settle out just a little bit, decrease some of that swelling, improve the range of motion. They may have even wanted him to do a little bit of some prehab, before surgery in order to try and get that muscle strength back where it needs to be so that hopefully he'd, have a smoother post-operative course. So there's a few reasons, why it may have been pushed out just a little bit, but oftentimes it is conducted a little bit, closer to the time of the injury. It's really just a matter of how the knee is looking prior to surgery, how it's ranging, how it's looking, the strength that you make those decisions.
Now, do you think he could be ready? And obviously, you didn't do the surgery or see it, but just general ACL injury. Could they be ready in a 7-month period?
Yeah, I mean that's a tight window. There's no question about it. I definitely think it's in the right ballpark. Typically we'll say 7 to 8 to 9 months. Adrian Peterson actually years ago, he kind of broke the mold in terms of seeing his recovery and the speed of his recovery after ACL surgery. And, as docs, we still struggle with that today because, regular patients will come in and they'll say, hey, Adrian Peterson did this and I can get back to, playing basketball or baseball or whatever. And the bottom line is, Adrian Peterson was a little bit of an anomaly. In fact, not even a little bit, he was a lot bit of an anomaly. And, seeing somebody like that come back so quickly, though, and it being so publicized in the news, now everybody thinks they can get back in, just a few months after ACL. And the truth of the matter is it's a 7 to 9 month process. That 7 months, things would have to go really, really perfectly. Not saying that they won't, But they would have to progress in a very stepwise manner and not allow for many hiccups along the way in the recovery process. He'll be pushed in terms of getting his range of motion back quickly and then doing a lot of straight line strengthening before they start to get into some twisting, turning, more agility work. But that 7 months, it's doable, but it's going to be tight. There's no question.
You brought up Adrian Peterson. Everybody's not a freak. I think we
Adrian
moved on to
exactly.
The running back talk there. So let me pull this back up. So there was Doc talking about it. Like I said, it wasn't discouraging when we had this conversation. In fact, I think the title I put was like good news on Michael Gallup. I don't think he'll be out for half the season or anything like that. The 2 to 3 games that Stephen Jones talked about seemed to be about right. I don't want them to push him, but I don't want him to also miss 6 games. That's one thing I just don't want him to be on PUP list. I don't even want him to be on the injured reserve. The 2 to 3 game time frame to me will make me feel a lot more comfortable. Now, did my man respond? I gave him ample amount of time. Here we go. Dude without Tyron. Lyle Martin bounced back rookie year. Zeke broken. Dalton 1-5 game. Not answering my question. You're not saying these things with your chest, bro. ATL 1 win. ATL worse on the schedule. Dalton beat bad teams. Dak has never beat a good team. This guy. My guy, I'm gonna give you one more chance, and I don't want to give too much attention to nonsense. Say it with your chest, Lil. For those who watched it, y'all know what I'm talking about. What are you saying? I'm not about to sit here and guess what you're saying no more. I'm not doing that. I'll allow y'all to get your opinions out here with your chest. What is you trying to say? Oh, he one of them. We hated watching Dalton win. Why would we hate watching Dalton win? I wasn't one of those dudes who wanted to tank. Didn't care about that. Andy Dalton. Is this it? He ain't saying it with his chest. You see, he just dipping his head in there. But he was better. Say it. Put it on wax. Andy Dalton was better than Dak Prescott, sir. You, sir, just made the list. Your football IQ, your football opinions, X and O wise, whatever you want to say about the Dallas Cowboys here, sir, I can no longer take serious. I appreciate you for watching. You can continue to comment. You can continue to come through here. But the fact that you believe Andy Dalton is or played or whatever the hell you're trying to say, because you ain't saying it with your chest, was better than Dak Prescott, to me shows me the type of football observer you are, which you're allowed to have that opinion. I just will not engage in empty debates with such. Thank you, sir. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to know where you come from. So now I know I can move forward with the rest of the people that, Matter of fact, here, bro. Here's your coloring book. Okay? You good? Just go off in the corner over there. 832, what up, man?
Yeah, we on?
Yeah, we on, man. We on. We back to the grown folk conversations.
Already, man. The grown folk conversation. First of all, what's up, Scott, man? This is my first time on with you.
Hey, appreciate you calling in, man, and listen, dog.
Yeah, man. I don't know what that guy was on saying Andy's better than Dak, man. That guy, I don't know. We ain't gonna get into that, but I'm gonna say it with my chest, man. I've been there's one thing I want to ask you. This guy, Kevontae Turpin, man, have you checked out his film, man? What you think about it? How do you think he fits in our offense if he makes the team?
I think you might have even asked that question in the chat. Was that you?
No. I haven't been in the chat. That wasn't me.
Okay. So somebody asked that question in the chat. I have not went and checked out Turpin, and I think it's Maurice Alexander. I just found out this morning that they brought them in, so I don't want to give y'all some fake analysis on the guys. What I did briefly see is that they are returner types, more diminutive type dudes. So that's all I got for you. And the statistics from Turpin, who was the MVP in the USFL. So if you got something, you can lay it on me.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think just looking at it, man, I think he'll fit into our offense well, man, if Kellen can scheme for him, man. And another thing, while we was, hitting on Michael Gallup, I think, as Cowboy fans, we might be focusing too much on what our receiver core might look like this year and not focusing enough on how we just might implement Tony Pollard this year, man. I think he's going to be the saving grace for our offense this year.
The ultimate weapon X. Salute to Brian Dawkins.
Yeah, man, that's the Swiss Army knife, and I think he's going to take a lot of pressure off of CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup and Washington. I think Pollard going to put it on his back this year, man.
Brother, I hesitate saying he's going to. So I can't say that with my chest. And it ain't got nothing to do with him. It's the guy calling the plays. It's the guy putting the game plan together. He ain't gave me confidence in 3 years that he's going to allow Tony to spread his wings and fly. But if he does, I think Tony Pollard will definitely take off and soar like an eagle. I shouldn't even have said eagle, but he'll take off and he'll soar.
Yeah, no, don't say that over here, man.
You're right. I shouldn't say eagle.
Yeah, I got you, man. That's pretty much all I had, man. I just wanted to call and tap in and get your thoughts on Turpin, man. I know that in the next couple of days or so, man, you give us some more on it, man. That's all I have for your show today.
I'm going to check him out, brother. Thank you.
All right, take care, man.
This man is still going on. Nope. I won't do it. I said what I said. I'm going to let the bomb squad take it. 602, what up?
What up, Skywalker? Still this DP, man.
DP Johnson?
Yes, sir.
My guy. If I had an award for the most thought-provoking comments on the videos around the community, it'd go to DP Johnson. What's good, DP?
Oh, man. Y'all was talking about my man AG13, so I got to chime in on that.
You said MG?
Yeah, man. I think a lot of people...
Bro, real quick. Can you turn down the... I don't know if you got the radio, TV. I can hear the background.
All right. Yep. Can you hear me better?
I can hear you. It just was an echo in the back.
Right. Okay, so, we was talking about NG13. I think a lot of people have kind of lost track with all those hoopla. The year, he had his year two. The guy had 66 catches for 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns. It just so happened that the projected best receiver in the draft fell to him. CeeDee Lamb was here on an accident, bro. We weren't looking to draft CeeDee Lamb.
Right.
If CeeDee Lamb wasn't drafted, we still have Amari Cooper, and I'm pretty sure that's factual. But getting back to Gallup, Amari told everybody his year two that this is not a number 2 wide receiver across from me. And it's because we drafted CeeDee Lamb that everybody forgot about that. But I have all kind of love for Gallup. That's my guy. He's a dog. I really do not care to see him before the bye week because I want him to take his time to get healthy because the dude gets hurt a lot. I don't want to rush him back. That being said, Gallup, if you look back at that year two and he had 1,100 yards, he only needs about 6 throws a game to get you 1,000 yards, bro. So I'm not rush to put him back. Just let him be a big play weapon.
He's a bit. I think we had this conversation on Vacha's show. Give me a second. On Vacha's show, in regards to a deep, you can be a deep threat without having the deep speed. Like there's different versions of deep threats. There's the Deshaun Jackson version. There's the Randy Moss version. There's the Will Fuller version, and then there's the Michael Gallup version. Right? There's the Plaxico Burress version. The guys that just are big body receivers that can go up and get the rock. And MG, surprisingly, if you look at some of his deep throws over his career, there's some space in between him. It ain't all 50-50s. It ain't all contested. But he's a guy that Dak trusts throwing to in these situations that I'm showing and in deep ball situations because he's going to fight for that rock. He is the Des Bryant-esque type of physical style of play of this receiving core.
Right. See, to me, I feel like we should be focusing on the run game offensively this year. allows Gallup to become that X factor when he comes in the second half, just to throw a new wrinkle at defenses and whatnot. But again, I don't want to put no rush and no emphasis on putting Michael Gallup on the field earlier than he needs to be out there. But Scott, this defense though, man. Our biggest weakness on defense has been our defensive line. I think everybody would agree to that for probably like the last 2-3 years. But the last 2 years, we done got some youngsters in, bro, that I really think are going to make the league stand up and take notice this year. You know, the peanut butter videos, Neville and Osa are crazy. You got Chauncey out there putting on weight, but keeping his mobility up, you know what I mean? And he was brought in specifically for the run game anyway. So I'm really thinking that things are going to be really, really different. I'm a little upset about the fact that we slow-footing on linebackers, but for anybody that don't know Christian Sam out of ASU, linebacker we just signed, that dude is a walking train wreck, bro. He loves going head up with people. He's not one of those guys. He'll shoulder tackle.
You think there's something there?
Bro, I'm from Arizona, Scott. This dude played at ASU, so I watched him.
So why is he on his sixth team?
Why is he on the 6th team? Because he got drafted to a defensive team, went to another defensive team. Deep rosters. He's just like J-Rock. He was to a bunch of teams that already were known.
Nah, DP. J. Ron Curse had a role for both of his teams in actual NFL tape, positive, really good positive tape. Christian Sam does not.
And this is all I'm saying, Scott. I can't argue that he doesn't have a lot of games. That's a fact.
Well, don't focus on that part. Focus on why he doesn't. This is, I think, his 6th team or 7. I can't remember what it is, but it's like his 6th team, and he was cut by 2 USFL or whatever.
Well, I put it to you like this, Scott. Again, what I was trying to bring people is his play style. Right now, we need a middle linebacker who can clean shit up because we know that Mike is going to go in and try to wreck shit. So like Coach Mark said, we need a guy who's solid in the middle who's going to make tackles. That's what Christian Sam's play style is. Now, athletically, I've had it heard put out there that his trainers are saying that Christian Sam is a 4.4 guy. He was only a 4.75 guy coming out of college.
Yeah, I saw your comment, right? So I went and looked at some of his. I only saw the highlights again. I didn't see the tape, and I was like, this guy don't look like a athletic freak type of dude. He seemed more of a thumper.
Yeah, he was only 4.75 coming out of college, but his trainers say he can run a 4.4 now. That just means he's had 6 years to rework his body. But what I'm simply saying to you, his play style, this is a dude who form tackles in the hole, Scott. He likes collisions. He's all about that life. He's gotten his athletic ability to match his play style now. Then I think the dude might have the other side. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, DP, I'm not going to sit here and count him out this early. We haven't even been to camp yet. But if somebody asks me to give what I think he's going to do, based off of data, he's just going to continue to be a camp body until proven otherwise. But he'll get a shot. He's going to be in a room full of a lot of dudes. Hansford, Liberty Cat, Story, himself.
Let's keep it up. We got 3 linebackers on this roster that are probably going to be on this roster right now.
Luke Gifford.
I'm trying to keep my eyes open.
Yeah, you don't think it's 4?
Who?
You don't think it's 4?
Who's the 4?
Luke Gifford.
Who's the 4th?
Luke Gifford.
Luke Gifford?
Yeah.
I honestly, Luke Gifford's like an afterthought, bro. He had an interception in the preseason, sprained his ankle, and ain't did nothing since.
DP, how are we bigging up a dude who's been on 6 teams? And that was your answer for Luke? Like, you don't think Luke is going to be on this team? Seriously.
I can only go off of what I've seen, guys. I haven't seen what Sam did at all those camps. But I got to see what Luke did in our preseason because I'm a Cowboys fan. Right. And all I'm simply saying is I no longer have too much momentum left in him. He's a good dude.
Oh, patience. Your patience is run thin with it. That's fair. That's fair.
That's it.
You know, to me, he's a fourth, fifth linebacker. So I'm not. I mean, but I think because of our linebacker situation, can you even afford? Yeah, like can you imagine going into the season? And Luke ain't some amazing dude, right? But Luke's got experience. He's been around. He played some snaps on defense over the last 3 years. Can you imagine your room behind Micah and those three are 3 or 4 undrafted players?
You know what? That's the real reason why I wanted us to go sign a veteran like Anthony Barr.
Same.
Because just looking at the numbers, I don't see how we don't have at least 2 rookie linebackers this year, and I would just feel so much more comfortable with having a vet in there with him.
I agree.
You know,
bro,
to me,
I'm getting to the point, man, where I'm like, if it got to be Anthony Hitchens, then so be it. Like, and I'm not saying Hitch is great anymore. It's just that you listen, man. You got LVE in that room who's been injury prone. If he goes down, you got Jabril Cox, who he came in the league a little nicked up. Eventually, unfortunately, tore his ACL. You can't sit here and say from an injury standpoint you feel extremely confident with these dudes. Get me somebody. Anthony Barr, I would love.
Yeah, Anthony Barr, like you said, Quan Alexander was the guy you was calling for earlier this year. You know, it's a few guys out there. I was trying to get folks to pay attention to A.J. Johnson from Denver. He tore his pec last year, so he only played like 5 or 6 games. But the dude is a veteran starting linebacker in the league. He's only 26 years old. You know what I mean?
Who was the guy?
A.J. Johnson.
Is that the cat from Denver?
From Denver.
Yeah. Yep. He's another one. He's another one. Yep.
You know what I mean? It's some dudes out there. You know what I mean? And I honestly think that Stephen Jones has roadmapped this thing, and he's refusing to make adjustments. And I kind of think that's reflective of his choice in offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I mean, DP, I'm with you. There's a handful of dudes I think they should be looking at. And the weird thing about it, I would love to know the reasoning, right? I would love to be in that room and go to Will McClay and say, hey, Will, I see you're trying out linebacker, like tryouts. TJ Brunson, Malik Jefferson. You're trying out these guys, and who's the cat with Christian Sam? These guys who've been around the league to 6 or 7 teams, they haven't played much. Why not go get an actual guy? Like, what is the reasoning behind that? Are they just here because Devontae Bond got hurt and you just need a camp body? Or are you guys legitimately trying to add depth in that room? Because if you're legitimately trying to do it, there are people out there to do so. So I would love to ask that question of why it's not happening.
In my opinion, it's budget over roster. We got more money available right now than some teams did at the beginning of free agency. And we're trying out street players instead of signing solid veterans. What sense is that, man? Yeah.
ADP, man. Good stuff, bro. I love when you call in. It's very rare, but when you call in, we have good conversations.
Yes, sir. Had to get at you. Been trying to get at you in Vox for a couple of weeks now, man. My bad, but your show is early, man. I'm in Arizona.
I know, man.
So, but it's all good, Sky. Good to talk to you, man. I'm going to let you go. Bomb Squad, keep it up.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yep.
This is that point in time in the season where, we just kind of go with the flow. And I love that because here we are. What are y'all, 2 hours in? Ain't touched offensive line battles. I wonder, I don't know, content creators. Can you have these conversations with the fans? The Bills, maybe. They're pretty good now. I truly feel like we're just in a really unique fan base in regards to content, because we can talk about the 6 offensive linemen. We can talk about the 3rd cornerback. We can talk about an injured receiver for hours on end. Just fantastic, man. I see y'all still going at it with Dallas 8-9. Let me do this real quick for Dallas 8-9. He ain't leaving. He ain't going nowhere. He ain't backing down. So salute. We've had situations where people get the heat put on them and they dip.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
I don't want y'all to leave. We can disagree. I am passionate about it. You can be passionate too. Matt, the door's open, sir. It's open for a return. So salute to you, Dallas 8 and 9, for, I guess, for not running. He said I ain't talking smack to anyone, just football. No, I'm not saying talking smack. Smack talk ain't a problem. Not a problem. I just refuse to fully engage in nonsense, in the sense of Andy Dalton was better than Dak. Like the Dallas 8 and 9, I can't do that with you. So hopefully, you know, some other takes we can have conversation. And like I always say, call in. Absolutely. We'll talk about it. Tell me why he's better. But y'all held it down here in the chat, man. Phone lines are dunzo. Unless Dallas 8 9 want to call in. Phone lines are dunzo. We back into the chat. We 2 hours plus in here, which, man, salute to y'all. We ain't 2 hours plus without y'all. Tomorrow, it ain't going quite be roll out the TV type of day, because we got some homework we got to do. We postponed it to Friday. I know y'all don't like to hear that, right? You don't want no homework going into the weekend, but maybe I'll try to figure out something on the second half of the show where we could do something fun. But we definitely got to get to the camp battles of the offensive linemen. And it's two battles that I'm particularly looking at that we'll bring up tomorrow. All right, so no movie is happening at the first part of class, but maybe the second part that happened. We'll see what's up. Swain said, this guy, he not backing down. He just not smart enough to get facts behind his dumb comments. Whoa! Come on, Swain. Then he has us in our feelings. No, just tired of dumb comments with no facts. Don't go away mad, just go away, says Greg. He's standing there taking these stones. Whew. King Element, what's good, bro? He said you and Vach on today. Yes, sir. We got some more questions from what's so dope about how this happened. Wasn't playing, y'all. On this show, we did the fan survey from John Machado on The Athletic. Shout out to him, where the results weren't there yet. So we did the whole 25 questions. Boy, that was a fun show. And then on Vach's show, there's the results. So we can see how the fans actually felt that did that survey. And we're going to do a few more questions we didn't get to yesterday. So we'll be over there. I see some people. No volume? No. We'll be over there. 3-ish Mafia. We'll be over there later on. So make sure y'all come through and on the Vach Lombardi live show. And we're going to have a good time. I'm surprised Danny ain't calling. Hey, King Element, that I'm gonna break your legs comment yesterday, dog. Was that on here? That was on here. I legitimately had to mute myself 5 different times because I just kept looking at it and laughing. You said I should ask a question about where'd you go? Who you would take from another team and put on Dallas. That ended up being a great discussion. Yeah, that did. And I know why you want to bring it up, King, but I'm going to see if he wants to do that. Me and you got one back and forth on that answer. Who keeps deleting this comment? Listen, y'all don't got to delete the dude's comments. I'm looking at some of his comments. There's nothing crazy here, y'all. He can say his stuff, you know. As long as he ain't being disrespectful, as long as he ain't calling your boy all types of crazy things, he ain't saying some weird stuff in the chat in regards to inappropriate. I don't care if you think the Cowboys are only going to win 8 games. That's only happened one time under Dak Prescott being healthy. So we want to talk about facts. The statistics, the data does not agree with you, Mr. Dallas. Now, but hey, I said I wasn't going to go there with him. I ain't going to go there. Don't delete his comments, man. Just make sure, Dallas 8 and 9. If Dallas wins more than 8 games, you report back to here on A to Z Sports Live, hosted by yours truly, and call into the show. Okay? See, we gotta own up to ours. When we wrong, we can't hide. We here. Y'all know where to find us. Y'all can snip it. Sky said, yada, 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 yada. And make these videos and all these type of things. I'll come right back to you. Hey, man. I was wrong. I was wrong. I sorry. But y'all can go high. He probably changed his name or something like that. But nah, come back. Make sure y'all hit this like button on the way out. Please do that. This was one of the, I don't do freestyle shows too much. I like structure. I like to have topics for you guys that have thought out and things like that so we can have quality shows. But today, man, this is all y'all. I appreciate y'all, Bomb Squad. Y'all held this thing down.
Bomb Squad!
Do me a favor, hit the like button on the way out. Share this with your friends, families, and foes. And if you are new, I don't know if Dallas89 is subscribed, but if you are new here, hit the sub button if you enjoy the content, man. If you enjoy the content. You might not enjoy what I say, but if you enjoy the actual content of what we are doing here, hit that like button. It helps us grow. I appreciate it greatly. Truly do. I could sit here, honestly, y'all, and talk for a while, but I got some things to do. So we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. I'm going to hit this like button. I need to go. I'm going to hit this button and be gone. See y'all over there on the volume 3-ish Mafia later tonight. Mauricio Rodriguez will be in the house here on A to Z Sports Dallas for prime time. And then tomorrow we pick up the camp battle. I'm going to change all this for y'all on the titles and whatnot, man. See y'all later. Got it. Love you. Peace.
Bomb Squad!